East Coast Mainline. An important artery of the British rail network appears in Train Sim World 4 in the form of a stretch of the East Coast Main Line. Much requested by players and rail fans over the years, this high-speed line has history, but continues to be a crucial part of today's contemporary railway with fast, modern rolling stock to suit the route Peterborough-Doncaster. The stretch of this line between the cities of Peterborough and Doncaster brings a variety of services and high-speed running as well as the longest end-to-end UK route to date. Along the way, the historic Stoke Bank marks the location where the world speed record for a steam locomotive was broken in July of 1938 to 126 miles per hour, 203 kilometers per hour, by the famous Mallard locomotive. Eagle-eyed rail fans may see the commemorative sign flash by both in-game and in real life. As if one record wasn't enough, it was also through this part of Lincolnshire that world-famous locomotive Flying Scotsman broke the 100 miles per hour barrier on November 30, 1934. Doncaster was where Flying Scotsman was built 100 years ago along with other iconic locomotive classes such as streamlined Gresley Pacifics and diesel-electric Class 56s, as well as an extensive railway history. The city today hosts DB Cargo UK's headquarters. Peterborough's place on the East Coast Main Line came as a result of circumstance when Lord Exeter refused to allow the line to be built through nearby Stamford. The city grew as a result, industrializing much in the way other locations did once the railway had arrived on its doorstep. 3 intermediate stations are spread between the route's endpoints facilitating high speed across most of the route. These are Grantham, the home of England's oldest biscuit recipe, Grantham gingerbread, first made by accident in 1740. Newark Northgate, serving Newark-on-Trent in Nottinghamshire. Nearby is Newark Flat Crossing, the sole remaining standard gauge flat crossing on the British railway network. Retford, where the ECML crosses the Sheffield to Lincoln line. Retford is one of England's oldest market towns and the ornate station building is Grade 2 listed. History aside, this part of the ECML offers up a true racetrack section where Llanr's Azuma can really stretch its legs. With 4 parallel lines, a variety of in-game services can interact with one another, particularly for players with plentiful UK content. The units, locomotives. Llanr Class 801 Azuma, LNER is one of the new operators to arrive to Train Sim World 4 along with Metrolink and Obits Edition brings the historic Big Four, albeit some in their contemporary guises, to the game with Southern GWR and LMS featuring in previous TSW-compatible releases. The Class 801 Azuma was introduced in 2019 replacing previous intercity trains on the East Coast Main Line. Unlike the bimode Class 800 variant, used by both Llanr and other operators, which can interchangeably use electric and diesel power, the Class 801 uses overhead line equipment for power when in service and is considered an EMU, electric multiple unit. A small diesel engine, which we've incorporated in-game, exists only for emergency use and depot moves. Both 801 and 801 halves variants of the Azuma are included in-game, the former being a 5-car train and the latter being 9 cars long. Both operate along this stretch of the ECML upwards of 125 miles per hour, providing a thrilling high-speed run through Lincolnshire and Nottinghamshire countryside. EWS Class 66 and FKA container flat. Included with the East Coast Main Line is the weathered EWS variant of the ubiquitous Class 66, as seen in the RHTT Loco add-on, but without the in-cab RHTT control equipment. With both slow and fast lines existing along this part of the ECML, freight services are often seen giving way to faster passenger traffic in passing loops, and this is replicated in the service timetable with a number of playable freight operations. As with most parts of the British railway network, the Class 66 is a common sight here, hauling a variety of freight. In Train Sim World 4, the services feature the FKA container flat seen previously in Great Western Express, hosting a colorful array of containers. The EWS Class 66 and FKA container flats come included with East Coast Main Line without the need to own any previous Train Sim World routes. Llanr Class A360,103 Flying Scotsman, Deluxe and Special Edition only for the Flying Scotsman. In Train Sim World 4 Deluxe Edition, players can experience the thrill of operating the world's most famous locomotive Flying Scotsman during its landmark centenary year. Represented in preservation condition, this National Railway Museum locomotive runs rail tour passenger services along the length of the route, with Doncaster being the place at which it was first built back in 1923. In-game, the cab and exterior are faithfully recreated with the relevant safety systems, markings, signage and gauges needed for extensive mainline running. training. The Mk1 support coach, required for crew and accessed through the corridor tender, is also featured along with a rake of Mk2 coaches typical of those pulled during the countless rail tours it undertakes. The story of Flying Scotsman is both dramatic and extensive, with tours taking place in both the USA and Australia as well as most of the UK rail network, including plenty of routes available as add-ons in Train Sim World, though some of the new and improved scenario planner features are specific to Train Sim World 4 routes. Others like custom start times, weather selection and introductory text can help take Flying Scotsman elsewhere in the UK along other routes in your collection, such as Great Western Express, Birmingham Cross City and West Somerset Railway services and other features. The timetable for East Coast Mainline follows the current real-life working timetables and so included is the following. Specific details at different times of day may vary. Hourly London-Edinburgh services in each direction, calling at Newark Northgate, and hourly London Leeds services in each direction, non-stop between Peterborough and Doncaster. Hourly London Leeds service in each direction, non-stop between Grantham and Doncaster. 2 hourly London Newark Northgate services in each direction, calling at Grantham and terminating short at Newark instead of going to Lincoln. 2 hourly London York service in each direction, calling at all stations between Peterborough and Doncaster. 2 hourly London Harrogate service in each direction, non-stop between Grantham and Doncaster. 4 daily London Bradford services between Grantham and Doncaster, calling at Radford. 2 hourly London Hull services in each direction between Grantham and Doncaster, calling at Radford, covering for Hull train services. Handful of ECS moves out of Doncaster Hitachi Depot. Additionally, the services between London and Scotland which run non-stop, as well as Lumo and Grand Central paths, are included as AI only, so they can be seen throughout the route, passing through Peterborough and Doncaster non-stop. All the above uses 5, 9 and 10 car formations as appropriate. In addition, the Class 66 freight services involve the following. 4 XXX head code container freight services, generally running full-length services between Peterborough and Doncaster, including from yards such as Down Decoy. As with most freight, the origin and destination reach far beyond the represented route, but the names of the services include realistic origins and destinations, such as Teesdale, Felixstowe, etc. Most services are split into parts where longer waits and passing loops are necessary and runs outside of the busier passenger times. A fair number of services can also be seen as AI only, where freight takes alternative routes between Peterborough and Doncaster, as the main line is too busy at times to support additional traffic. More freight services, 6 XXX headcodes, are available. AI and playable, using the JNAs and MFAs from Southeastern High Speed and the BBAs from Tees Valley Line. Using the seasonal services feature, Flying Scotsman features multiple rail tours timed throughout the year. Again, the start and end points reflect the full real-life services. In-game services run only between Peterborough and Doncaster. February 1Z87 London King's Cross to York and 1Z90 York to London King's Cross. April 1Z72 London King's Cross to York, 2 parts. June 1Z20 Wellington to London King's Cross and 1Z22 London King's Cross to Cleethorpes. July August 1Z54 London King's Cross to York and 1Z55 York to London King's Cross. September October 1Z39 London King's Cross to York, 2 parts, and 1Z41 York to London King's Cross. November December 1Z44 London King's Cross to York, 3 parts, and 1Z56 Edinburgh to London King's Cross. There is also a light engine and support coach movement for one of the tours. These are designed to offer the most amount of variety while respecting the uniqueness of the locomotive. Deviating from these when selecting the services as a player could result in seeing more than one Scotsman at once. Now some admin. Please do join us at our YouTube channel Australia Worldwide Gaming and Entertainment this Friday 22nd of September 2023, Australian time and day, for our launch live gameplay as we bring to you our first gameplay of Train Sim World 4 as we enter a new era. Do note our stream will be a fair few hours after release as we need to be somewhere on the day, so we will be live in the afternoon sometime Australian time and be back for a second live stream on Friday 22nd of September 2023 from 10:30 p.m. EST Australian time, 1:30 p.m. UK time, 8:30 a.m. New York USA time, so join us then. We will also be doing the introduction videos from the first day of release and will show up to 4K 60 FPS after their premiere. Do rest assured that we will be Australia's home of the TSW4 era, so don't go anywhere else, but here we got you covered. That is the latest Train Sim World 4 news and final news for pre-launch of Train Sim World 4. Have a nice day.